My name's Ian and I'm a landscape gardener. I was brought up in the church. My grandparents were Salvation Army officers, so I've always known about God and church. Up until 16, I was in Salvation Army uniform and played in the band, and then when I turned 16, I went the other way. And I stopped going to church and made very bad decisions, became very, very ill with depression because of the decisions that I'd made throughout my life. My whole life snowballed, and I wasn't the person that I'd been as when I was growing up, being brought up. Even my family weren't too keen on knowing me. I know from growing up that, God will forgive my sins, things I've done in the past. But some of the decisions that I'd made throughout my life, I was genuinely worried about going back to church. I expected to burst into flames when I walked through the door, to be quite honest. But because of the people at the church and people speaking to me at the church, I felt from them welcomed. And if people at the church can welcome me, then God can definitely welcome me back, because he is so much more than any of us. Sometimes you go into a church and no one speaks to you throughout the service, but you can always guarantee when you go to the forward that someone will come and talk to you. And yeah, I feel so at home there. It's just really great. As I've moved on in my faith and my life, I've decided that now I'm in the right headspace. Now I'm in the right place spiritually, in my relationship with God, to make that commitment now. My faith is now so different to what it was. Beth got me to study again. I always wanted to study theology. Don't know why, I just always wanted to study it, probably because my grandparents were ministers. And I recently did, 2 years ago, started a course in Christian ministry and biblical studies, and found out a few days ago, about a week ago, that I passed it with distinction. So that was pretty cool. It feels just incredible that I can be forgiven. I don't deserve it. Don't deserve forgiveness. For a lot of what I've done, the way I've lived my life, I know I've always known how I should live my life, but I didn't live it the way I should. And the fact that I can now give my life back to God, and he will then turn around and say, I've wiped your slate clean. It's a fresh start, new beginning. It's unfathomable. I can't. It's just the greatest feeling after everything that I've done and been through, and it's amazing. I know the way I want my life to go now, and nothing's going to stop me from leading it the way I should be leading it now. I'm not worried that I'll go back to my old ways. There's no chance of that at all. Even now, when I think about how I used to be, and now I think how I'm expected to live because I'm giving my life to God, it's exciting how I want to go from here, rather than going back to how I was. I've paid a lot of thought recently to how I view Jesus and what Jesus did for me. And it's so hard to comprehend that someone would give their son so that my sins, the many that there were in my past, could be forgiven. And it's only by Jesus and what he did that is possible. Because I didn't think there would ever be any chance that there would be forgiveness. And then when I watch films on the telly of like the Passion and things like that, and I see exactly what Jesus went through so that my slate could be wiped clean, it just blows my mind.